The day they tried to tow my grandson's pickup, I stood on my porch, arms crossed, channeling every single ounce of my late husband's legendary stubbornness. I mean every bit of it. "Touch that truck," I told the tow driver, my voice as steady as an old oak. "And you'll need to tow yourself. Believe me." That was the exact moment, right there, when the HOA president, Patricia Whitaker, finally realized she'd picked a fight with the absolute wrong Abuela. She learned, the hard way, that some battles you just don't start. Rewind, calm before chaos. My name is Rosa Delgado, and I'm 72 years young. Thank you very much. Born in the vibrant heart of Guadalajara, raised with grit and grace in East LA, and now enjoying my retirement on the quiet, tree-lined cul-de-sac of Maravilla Lane, my home. Oh, it's a beauty, peach stucco, a proud red tile roof, and it smells every single morning of freshly brewed Café de Olla and warm cinnamon. It's a scent that just wraps around you like a hug. My roses, well, they're my pride and joy. Every spring, they win the neighborhood's informal Best Blooms contest, even if the prize is just neighbors shyly asking for cuttings, hoping to get a little piece of that magic for their own gardens. Life here, before all the chaos, was genuinely peaceful. I spent my mornings tending to my garden, coaxing out vibrant colors from the earth. Sundays were for making mountains of tamales, a tradition passed down through generations, filling my home with laughter and the delicious scent of masa. And of course, I faced down my grandkids, watching them grow up, even from a distance, sharing stories and silly faces. It was a good life, a full life, one that felt earned and cherished. Then the HOA, in its infinite wisdom, decided it was time for a change. They elected a new president. And that, my friends, is when the quiet cul-de-sac of Maravilla Lane became anything but. It was like a storm cloud gathering on a perfectly sunny day, a subtle shift in the air that you could almost feel. Little did I know that seemingly small change was about to turn my peaceful retirement into an unexpected battleground. My neighbor Carlos, a former cop with a keen eye for trouble, saw what was happening. He pulled me aside one afternoon, his brow furrowed with concern. "Rosa," he warned, his voice low, "they're papering you into foreclosure. They want your house." My blood ran cold for a second, but then a fire ignited within me. "Then we paper back, Carlos," I replied, my chin lifting. "We paper back." And paper back we did. I marched down to the office supply store and bought myself a binder. Not just any binder, mind you, but a proper, color-coded one, just like Patricia's. But mine was for justice. Every letter, every absurd photo, every bogus measurement, every piece of their paper trail went into that binder. Organized, dated, and ready. I wasn't just collecting evidence. I was building a case. Then came my secret weapon, a $29 trail cam. I disguised it in a birdhouse, placing it strategically to capture any suspicious activity around my property. And oh, did it deliver. Overnight, the lens caught Patricia herself, in the dead of night, measuring my lawn with a flimsy plastic ruler, uprooting a geranium for inspection, which, of course, she never replanted, and snapping photos of my house while wearing gloves emblazoned with the HOA logo. Evidence. Oh, you bet I had evidence. It was all there, clear as day, a silent witness to her petty tyranny. Meanwhile, the neighborhood, which had initially been quiet, started to split. Some residents, terrified of fines, kept their heads down, hoping to avoid Patricia's wrath. But others, seeing what was happening to me, started to fume. They whispered in grocery aisles, exchanged knowing glances over fences. At the next monthly HOA meeting, I decided to change the atmosphere. I brought homemade churros, warm, sweet, dusted with cinnamon sugar. Because, let's be honest, nobody can truly argue while happily licking cinnamon sugar off their fingers, right? I placed them on a table, a peace offering, and then I simply asked, "Who else here has received surprise violations recently?" Half the room, I tell you, half the room raised their hands, their faces a mixture of relief and indignation. That moment was a turning point. From those shared complaints, the Maravilla Mutual Aid Group was born. We started a GroupMe chat, held Saturday potlucks where we could discuss our grievances without fear, and created a shared Dropbox filled with HOA bylaws, meticulously highlighted. We weren't just neighbors anymore. We were a community, united against a common bully. The fight was no longer just mine. It was ours. Enter Patricia Whitaker. The name itself still makes me sigh. She arrived with her perfectly coiffed, shoulder-length blonde bob, always clutching a stack of color-coded clipboards, and a smile that, I swear, never quite reached her eyes. It was more of a practiced grimace, really. Within a week, every single mailbox in Maravilla Lane held a neon orange flyer, screaming in bold letters, "New standards effective immediately." Can you imagine? No warning, no discussion, just a decree. The rules were ridiculous, petty, and frankly, insulting. Grass over 4 inches, a $50 fine. A basketball hoop visible from the street, $75. Who even thinks of these things? And then there was my front porch flower pot. Not just any pot, mind you. This was hand-painted with beautiful, intricate Mexican tiles, a piece of art, a piece of my heritage. Suddenly, it was deemed non-compliant decor. Non-compliant. My tia Lola's pot, a treasure that had traveled with me all the way from Jalisco in '78, was now a violation. The audacity. The official violation letter arrived in an ivory envelope so thick, so heavy, it felt like a wedding invitation. But inside, there was no joy, only a demand for a $100 fine, with a 10-day deadline to comply. I remember holding that letter, staring at the ridiculousness of it all. And then, I just burst out laughing. I laughed so hard, so uncontrollably, that my sister, who was on the phone with me, actually thought I was crying. "Rosa Mija, what's wrong?" she asked, worried. "Oh, nothing, Hermana." I managed to gasp between giggles. Just the HOA trying to tell me how to live. It was absurd, but that absurdity, that sheer, unadulterated nerve, solidified something in me. This wasn't just about a pot anymore. This was about principle. This was about respect. I paid the $100, yes, because I believe in paying my debts, even when they're unjust. But move Tia Lola's pot? Absolutely not. That pot wasn't just clay and paint. It was a piece of my family, a memory of a beloved aunt, a connection to my roots. It had survived a journey across borders, across states, and it certainly wasn't going to be evicted by a woman with a clipboard and a perpetual frown. The next month, predictably, a second citation arrived. This time, the accusation was exterior paint fading. My house, my beautiful peach stucco, which had been freshly repainted just the year before. The attached photo was grainy, taken at noon, the harsh sunlight washing out the color, making it look dull and faded. It was a blatant manipulation. I appealed, of course, submitting receipts, before and after photos, everything. Patricia, without so much as a second glance, denied it. Just like that, the fine started to snowball. $100, then $250, then a staggering $500. It felt like a deliberate campaign, a targeted attack. If you've ever found yourself facing down an HOA bully, feeling that frustration bubble up inside you, do me a favor and smash that like button. Let YouTube know that we, the people, need less Patricia and a whole lot more potlucks. And hey, if you want to stay updated on how this Abuela takes on the system, make sure you subscribe, because I've got plenty more Rosa-style receipts coming your way, believe me. Our HOA bylaws, like most, allowed 1 political sign per yard, max 4 square feet. My clever grandson, Marco, printed a 4-foot banner that declared, in no uncertain terms, "Stop HOA abuse." It was perfect, direct within the rules, and a clear message. Patricia, however, saw it as a personal affront. She fined me $150 for excessive signage. Excessive. I laminated the bylaw, highlighted the precise clause, and taped it right onto the sign. Not an inch more, not an inch less. Her response? She doubled the fine. Just because she could. It was pure spite. Carlos, ever the helpful one, emailed the city, detailing the escalating harassment. No response. The bureaucracy, it seemed, moved at a snail's pace, if at all. But I wasn't about to give up. I emailed the local news, on a whim really. To my surprise, a producer bid immediately. They saw the story, they felt the injustice. An interview was scheduled. The night before filming, Patricia, in a last-ditch effort to sabotage my efforts, stapled a notice on every single door in the neighborhood. An emergency rule change, it declared, stating that signs were now limited to 2 square feet. It was a desperate move, clearly aimed at my banner. But she underestimated me. I simply trimmed Marco's banner, keeping the font huge and the message just as impactful. You think you can outsmart an Abuela? Think again. The next day, the cameras rolled. I served the reporters fresh Café de Olla, strong and sweet, just like my resolve. Then I unveiled my binders. All of them. Each tab, each highlighted clause, each grainy photo, each meticulously documented violation. I laid out the whole ugly truth, piece by painstaking piece. The segment aired at 6 o'clock that evening. By 6:30, my inbox was flooded with messages. You go, Abuela. Fight the good fight, Rosa. You're an inspiration. The outpouring of support was overwhelming, beautiful. By 7, my phone rang. It was the HOA lawyer, leaving a rather nervous voicemail, asking to discuss a resolution. Suddenly, they were eager to talk. Funny how that works, isn't it? The annual meeting. The air in the clubhouse was thick with anticipation, a palpable tension. It was packed, standing room only, neighbors spilling out into the hallway. Patricia sat at the front, beneath the grandiose HOA crest, her gavel poised, a smirk playing on her lips. She thought she had won. She thought she controlled this room. But I arrived early, walking in with purpose. I wore my late husband's guayabera, a shirt that always made me feel strong, connected to his enduring spirit. My folders, now bulging with evidence, were clutched like a shield, or perhaps a sword. Public comments began one by one, and what an outpouring it was. Neighbor after neighbor stepped up to the microphone, their voices trembling at first, then growing stronger. Maria spoke of her unfair fence fine. The Johnsons detailed their ridiculous RV fee. Kevin, bless his heart, recounted the threat he received over his perfectly natural brown lawn during a drought. Each testimony was a thread, weaving a tapestry of shared frustration and injustice, and each one ended with the same powerful refrain. Rosa helped us fight. What has the board done? The applause that followed each statement rattled the coffee machine, a growing roar of discontent. Then it was my turn. I walked to the front, feeling the weight of all those stories, all that hope resting on my shoulders. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't have to. I simply projected the trail cam montage onto the screen. The silent footage played, Patricia, in the dead of night, measuring my lawn, uprooting my geranium, snapping photos with those ridiculous HOA logo gloves. Gasps rippled through the room. Whispers turned to indignant murmurs. The truth, stark and undeniable, hung in the air. Then I unfolded a printout, a meticulously compiled list. Over 60 violation letters issued in just 6 months. And the kicker? 52 of them, a staggering majority, had been targeted at women, minorities, or elderly residents. This, I declared, my voice clear and unwavering, is not policy. This is a pattern. This is selective enforcement. I looked directly at Patricia, whose cheeks now matched the neon orange flyers she so loved. And selective enforcement, I continued, violates both state law and federal fair housing regulations. I quoted Civil Code 1360.5, a section I had memorized. Then, with a flourish, I slid copies of the code down the aisles, like programs at a wedding, each one a stark reminder of the law. Patricia's face, I tell you, drained of all color. The vote to retain her presidency was called. The result? A resounding failure. 42 votes against, 3 in favor. 42-3. The clubhouse erupted in cheers. A new board was immediately elected, and their very first promise? A full review of every single fine issued. Justice, it seemed, had finally arrived. Within weeks, the new board made good on their promise. They voided a staggering $18,700 in penalties across the entire community. $18,000 $700. My fines. Erased, every last one of them. And Tia Lola's pot. It remains proudly on my porch, a symbol of defiance and victory. Now though, it's surrounded by neighbors' matching Talavera pots, each one a small, vibrant testament to our solidarity. A beautiful ceramic army, standing guard. As for Patricia Whitaker, well, rumor has it she packed up her color-coded clipboards and moved to a condo 2 towns over. And get this, the rumor also says she's already running for that board too. Some people, it seems, just never learn. But you know what? We're ready. Marvia Lane learned a valuable lesson, and we're stronger, more united, and certainly more vigilant than ever before. We faced a bully, and we won. And that feeling? That's priceless. So here's the real takeaway from all of this, my friends. Read your bylaws. Know your rights. Save every single scrap of paper, because you never know when it might become crucial evidence. And remember this above all else. Bullies absolutely hate sunlight. They thrive in the shadows and silence. Stand firm, speak loudly, and don't ever be afraid to share your churros, because you'll find allies in the most unexpected places every single time. If this Abuela, a 72-year young woman from Guadalajara and East LA, can face down an army of clipboards and petty rules, imagine what you can do. Don't let anyone dim your light or threaten your home. Hit that subscribe button for more stories of neighborhood justice and empowerment. And please, drop your own HOA horror story below in the comments. Let's laugh, let's learn, and let's support each other. Because remember, the roses bloom brightest, most vibrantly, when their roots stand strong, deep, and united.